Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's talk about something that hits pretty close to home for a lot of us. We're diving into how our kids actually learn their digital habits. And spoiler alert, it's almost never from those strict screen time rules we set. It's from what they see us doing day in and day out. If you've ever caught yourself feeling frustrated because your kids just aren't listening to your limits, well, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down the science of observation and give you a really practical framework to totally transform your family's digital dynamics.
Oof, that's a relatable, kind of uncomfortable moment, right? We have literally all been there. We tell our kids they need to protect their sleep as we carry our own glowing phones right into the bedroom. Or we ask them to focus, but then we check a quick notification right in the middle of a conversation. So let's really look at what's happening beneath the surface here.
Section 1, the visible rule, how children actually learn. Kids are just incredibly observant. Honestly, they're like little scientists, and we are their favorite subjects. They figure out what a normal digital life looks like by watching the contrast between our spoken rules and our visible rules. The spoken rule is what we say we value, like, hey, no phones at dinner. But the visible rule, that's what our actual behavior shows we value. If we're sitting there checking work emails over pasta, the visible rule wins hands down. It literally teaches them that a random notification is just more important than the person sitting right across the table. Now, don't worry, the good news here is that this is absolutely not about parental guilt. And it definitely doesn't mean you have to be perfectly screen-free. Let's be real, no adult uses technology flawlessly. We legitimately need our devices, right? For work, paying bills, navigating traffic, or emergencies. Healthy modeling isn't about hiding your phone like it's some sort of contraband. It's simply about making your purpose and your choices visible to the kids around you. Part 2. 5 closely watched habits. So those little scientists we talked about, they are quietly observing 5 specific behaviors: divided attention, phones at meals, screens before sleep, automatic use, and emotional use. Let's take a quick look at the before and after for each one of these. First up, divided attention. Imagine a child is telling you a story, and you repeatedly glance down at your phone. That child internalizes a very specific quiet lesson. Conversations can be interrupted the very second a screen lights up. Even just a tiny 2-second glance completely shifts the feeling of connection. It subtly communicates, that they're kind of secondary to whatever just buzzed in your pocket. Second, we have phones at meals. Look, meals are one of the few predictable times we actually get for genuine family connection, even if you're just negotiating over who's eating their broccoli. When every single person has a device sitting right next to their plate, our attention inevitably moves away from faces, away from storytelling, and away from those shared moments. The device just creates this invisible barrier in what should be a warm, natural environment. Third, screens before sleep. Think about your own routine for a second. If we, as adults, carry our devices right into bed, checking emails late at night, or falling asleep to random videos, our kids see this. They internalize that this isn't some rare exception. This is just the standard, perfectly normal way a human being winds down and prepares for rest. Fourth is automatic use. You know what I mean? Reaching for your device to immediately fill a completely empty moment, like sitting in a parked car or waiting in line at the grocery store, and you just do it without even consciously making a decision. Kids watch us incredibly closely when we're bored. They're basically waiting to see, does every quiet, empty moment of life absolutely have to be filled with a glowing screen? And finally, emotional use. It is a deeply, deeply human tendency to just turn to our screens when we're stressed out, lonely, or just plain exhausted. And while escaping into a phone is totally understandable, if it becomes our only visible coping strategy, it teaches kids a pretty tricky lesson. It tells them that uncomfortable emotions should always be escaped from, rather than noticed, talked about, or actually managed. Section 3, the 4-part family plan. Okay, so how do we actually shift these habits without completely turning our lives upside down? We use a super simple 4-part plan. Protect a moment, narrate your use, model stopping, and create rules. The absolute key here, do not try to change everything all at once. Just start with one single protected moment. Maybe it's dinner time, or maybe it's just the first 15 minutes after everyone gets home. But during that specific time, all devices go away. Step 2 is narrating your use. Honestly, it is amazing how just giving kids a clear, out-loud explanation totally shifts their perception of what you're doing. When you say, hey, I'm checking the map because we need directions, or I'm using my phone to pay this bill real quick, you actively help your child distinguish between
purposeful tool use and just mindless automatic scrolling. You totally demystify the device for them.
Step 3 is modeling stopping. Actually let your child see you complete an action and actively put the device down. Try saying something like, "Wow, I notice I've been scrolling way longer than I planned. I'm stopping now." By using this kind of visible language, you're modeling self-correction, but completely without shame. You're showing your kids that, hey, adults make choices and sometimes we lose track of time too, but we have the power to correct our own habits.
Part 4. Why repair matters most.
This brings us to what is really the emotional core of this whole framework. No family follows their digital plan perfectly. It's just not going to happen. You are going to check a message at dinner eventually. You are going to get totally absorbed in a video while your child is trying to talk to you. But what really matters is the repair. Repair teaches accountability. When you stop and actually fix the moment, children learn that adults can notice a mistake, take responsibility for it, and then just begin again. That kind of resilience is a massive life lesson. Literally, if you take only one thing away from this explainer, let it be this exact script. Memorize it. You were telling me something, and I looked at my phone. That was not respectful. Please start again. I am listening now. By putting the phone face down and saying those exact words, you instantly transform a moment of divided attention into a moment of deep, empathetic connection. It is incredibly, incredibly powerful. When it is time to address the family's habits as a whole, your language really matters. Whatever you do, do not make the child the family's only problem. If you walk in and say, "We really need to fix your phone problem," that child is going to feel completely singled out and shamed. Instead, try framing it like this. We've all allowed screens to interrupt important parts of our family life. Let's choose one habit we can improve together. See the difference? That creates a sense of shared responsibility and real teamwork.
Section 5. The 7-Day Experiment.
All right, it is time to put all of this into practice with a bit of a challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to not ask your child to change a single thing. Instead, the adult goes first. Just pick one behavior to practice yourself. You could protect meals, keep your phone out of the bedroom, pause for conversations, wait 10 minutes when you're bored, or just practice naming your purpose out loud. Just pick one. Once you've actually picked your habit, communicate that goal directly to your child. Tell them, "Hey, this week I'm really working on putting my phone away when we talk." By doing this, you set up this wonderful, parallel, cooperative atmosphere. You are modeling vulnerability and showing them that growth, it's an ongoing process, even for grown-ups. Then, at the end of the 7 days, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, did my child even notice the change? Did our conversations feel different, maybe a little more connected? Was the habit way harder at certain times of the day? This little reflection process paves the way for the next step, which is gently inviting your child to pick their own small habit to practice right alongside you. To wrap things up, I really want to leave you with this lingering, provocative thought. Before you ask how you can make your child use screens differently, ask yourself this: what digital habit am I demonstrating when my child is watching? Because children do not need digitally perfect parents. They need aware, honest adults who are actually willing to practice the values they preach. The most powerful change in your family's digital life doesn't begin with a shiny new rule. It begins when the adult goes first. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, good luck with your 7-day experiment.